Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking our first look at the Pan Giants. So these were the sort of initially the quite thick books which were published at 3 and 6. So we've already covered the numbered series, we've done the Great Pans, and now it's the Giants. So I haven't quite got them all by any means. I'm probably missing maybe a couple of hundred out of everything that they published, but I will go through in order and I'll show you exactly what I have got. And I'll do about maybe 100 or so books per video. So that will be the subject of today's video. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so we start off with the first of the Pan Giants. That's the X series, and as you can see there, X on the spine there, and they are all numbered. So this is X number 1, and the Pan Giants were done by price, so 3 and 6, 3 shillings and sixpence, and that is simply because 3 shillings and sixpence back then, and this was first published in let's have a look here, in 1956. That bought you 3 and 6 bought you one of the very biggest Pan books that Pan published, and this one actually it's a big thick book, and it's also got a photo insert in the middle as well. And yeah, this is just over 400 odd pages in this one. And you'll find that a lot of these early Pan Giants were big books, and quite a lot of war memoirs were covered as well. This one's something a little bit different. This is non-fiction, gardening book, The Small Garden, extensively illustrated, it says. Also with a photo insert in the middle. And these ones are quite scarce to come across in really nice condition. So always keep these early thick books are worth keeping your eyes peeled for. Sir Ellen Son, Warwick Deeping, 1 million copies sold. I know the Pan one was reprinted quite a few times. 1956. X4 is Pleasure Beach. Frank Tilsley. Bruce Windsor did the cover on that one. But these are all quite chunky novels. The original, and the title that causes much hilarity in my house, Fanny by Gaslight. Michael Sadlier. This is the original book set in Victorian London. That was the reset edition from 1956. One of the biggest ones of all, and so Victoria, a robust novel of England in the days of Queen Victoria's wicked uncles. Absolutely real thick book this. Sachs is the cover artist. About 550 pages for that one. A huge book. So let's pop those together and put them over there. X7, book on the Duke of Windsor. King's Story, Memoirs of the Duke of Windsor. Once again, this one's got three photo inserts. Really mint copy of that one. There we are, dedicated to Wallace. Number 9 here, A Way of the Transgressor. Famous news reporter's adventures. Nedgley Farson. That's a brilliant cover. That Wilton is the cover artist. Photo of him on the back there. At his home in Devon. Number 9, No Arms for Armour, Robert Henriques. Vivid novel of a young army officer between the two wars. It's probably set in Spain, I guess, that one. In the 1930s. Let's pop them over there. Really nice, these early ones, but so difficult to find in nice condition. Popsky's Private Army. Another wartime one. Cover artist Rex. You recognise that style there. Number 11, Young Lions. This is notoriously difficult to find in nice condition. Another Rex cover. Possibly the biggest one of all. The Pans. 550 pages. Erwin Shaw. Yeah, very difficult to find in nice condition. Here we are. Number 13 rather now, A Dragon Apartment. Norman Lewis. Photo insert in that one. Number 14, Catherine Carter, Romance of the Theatre. So a stage door. That's a nice jacket, isn't it? Cy Webb did the cover art on that one. Glamour of the stage in the 1880s. Number X15, Jet, Sir Frank Whittle, The Story of a Pioneer. Jacket by Gordon, another non-fiction one, that. As a lot of these have been at the moment. Number 16, Horned Pigeon, How I Escaped from Germany. Ah yeah, author of the Marquis. This is another Rex jacket. Another war memoir. Obviously these are, this is 1957 now. War memoirs, the war being finished for 10 or so years. So the memoirs were starting to become more and more popular. Raintree County. That's Elizabeth Taylor on the front there with Montgomery Clift. This is an early film tie-in of the MGM film. There's some stills from the film on the back. Likening it to Gone with the Wind. Don't know if it's quite that magnificent, but it is one that I do know of. Number 17. X18 then. Vagrant Viking. He could do with a shave, couldn't he, that guy? Cy Webb cover. It's like a travel book, that one. Number 19 is Learning to Cook. Marguerite Patin. Look at that oven. A famous TV show expert shows how to cook simple, appetizing meals. And it's got a Sam Peffer cover. Brilliant. I wonder if that was, that looks like it was deliberately laminated, which some cookbooks are sometimes. So, Tim, over at ticket.net, can you confirm if that was indeed on purpose? If your copy's laminated, that would make sense because cookbooks tend to get greasy in the kitchen. So that's one of those things that they would do. At number 20, Gavin Maxwell. God Protect Me from My Friends, the startling exploits of the bandit Giuliano. Rudy Giuliano? I wonder. That was number 20. 21 then, it's I Leap Over the Wall. A return to the world after 28 years in a convent. Monica Baldwin, oh god, I can't wait to read that one. Not. 22, oh yes, this is excellent. One for the ladies, A History of Courting. E.S. Turner. Really, really nice copy of that one. Cy Webb was the artist on that one. Really mint one of that. 23 is Captain Jan de Hartog. It's another war memoir, as I recall. It's tough in the tugs. Excellent stuff. 24 is Lord Johnny, a lusty novel of an 18th century rogue. There we are. Steady on. Pef cover as well. It's not one I recognise. That's brilliant. I have to say, after I did my little review of Cover Me, Pef's granddaughter did contact me and said how she was really enjoying the videos. So that's good. And here's actually another Pef cover there. Valley of the Vines, Joy Packer. A superb romance of South Africa. There we are. And I'm guessing Sam used his wife Kitty quite often as the model. So that probably was her on the front there. 26, Old Four Legs. Scientific adventure, Stranger Than Fiction, yeah. Another non-fiction title. We're up to 1958 now. 27 is Sheba's Buried City. Wendell Phillips. Travel book that reads like a thriller. Excellent stuff. Yeah. This is like, expeditions. Great stuff. Very, very interesting. An early sort of Indiana Jones style real life archaeologist. That was number 27. Number 28 is A Look at the British by Drew Middleton. Cover by Glenn Stewart. And I'm quite lucky that these early X books, I've actually got quite a nice run. I'm not missing many, so I have pulled out everything that I've got from the first 100 or so. But they do get a bit patchier after that. This one, the cover by Taylor, Shadow of the Moon, MMK. Love, Folly and the Horror of the Indian Mutiny. Nice jacket, that one, actually. Good stuff. Another big thick one. Number 30 is O Promised Land, James Stewart. And this is also a very early film tie-in. That's John Wayne there. Epic Story of the Great Southwest. Beautiful cover by Taylor. Real nice copy of that one as well. And certainly one for the John Wayne fans. Very, very nice, that one. Quite a collectible little pan book. 31 is Home Before Dark, Eileen Bassing. Another movie tie-in. Gene Simmons and Dan O'Halloran. Begins where the Snake Pit left off. So it looks like this is a sequel of sorts. That was number 31. Number 32 is The Pan Film Time for Ben-Hur by Lew Wallace. There is Charlton Heston on the front. A famous chariot scene. A fantastic film, if you've never seen it. I thought I would have a better copy of that, but evidently that's the best one that's ever come my way. 1959. Number 33 then, The Psychology of Sex. Have a look, Ellis. Another non-fiction book, which Pan did so many of. Let's just make a little bit of room here, because these do take up quite a bit of space. Number 35 then, The Last Hurrah, Edwin O'Connor. Not the greatest of copies, that one. Once again, another movie tie-in. This with Spencer Tracy, Jeffrey Hunter and Diane Foster. Jeffrey Hunter, of course, was the original captain of the Enterprise in the pilot for Star Trek. Number 35 then, huge seller for Pan, Peyton Place, Grace Meticulous. Absolutely huge film. This was a massive film, a huge book in the 50s, and had a little revival in the early 2000s. And they did do a sequel, Return to Peyton Place, which Pan also published. That was the very first printing of that one, and here's one of their later printings with a slightly different cover. And there we are, Pan saying 1.25 million copies sold in Pan alone. A huge hit, this book, and still very, very popular today. In fact, look at this later edition. You can see the printing history of it. Look at it. It was being reprinted 2 or 3 times every single year from publication, and is still in print today. So it was number 35. Number 36 here was The Protagonists, James Barlow, with a cover by DeMarco. Good stuff. Number 38 then is Mazo de la Roche's White Oaks. It's a massive popular series, the Jalna series, and these are still very, very popular today. You wouldn't believe what some of these romance books are actually selling for on places like eBay. Absolutely incredible. This is a slightly later printing of Regency Buck, Georgia Hare. So this isn't the original first. This is one from 1965, but it's such a nice copy. And almost certainly it's a different cover to the original, so that's why I've kept that one. Number 40 is Gypsy Rose Lee's Gypsy. Very, very nice copy of what is a super scarce book, the frank and intimate story of the Queen of the Striptease. So, as we all know, sex sells, and this is absolutely mint unread copy of that one, so I'm very, very pleased to have that. It's another book that goes for quite a bit of money, that's a beauty. Number 42 is A Woman of Bangkok, Jack Reynolds. A brutally frank story that will shock and enthrall. Well, it's not really doing much to enthrall me at the moment. Number 43 then, another Mazo de la Roche, Finch's Fortune, Young Finch White Oak, and 100 grand. Wow, what is going on there? Those would be the sorts of books my gran would read, in Pan as well. Number 44 then is Jenny, Ada Lewis. Another really nice, nice sharp copy of that one. Very lucky to have some of these. Now, X45 is the first of the famous Pan Book of Horror Stories, selected by Herbert Van Thal. So it's not. This is the first numbered proper book of the first Pan Book of Horror Stories. But prior to this, Pan had published a couple of books which were sort of horror anthologies, sort of a book of strange stories and tales in the dark and things like that. But this is the true first of the original Pan Book of Horror Stories, which went on to have 30 volumes. Now, back in, when was it? It was in 2010, so 10 years ago. A friend of mine called Johnny Mains, he's an editor and writer in his own right, huge Pan Book of Horror Stories fan, got Pan Books themselves to reprint this very first book. Sadly, it was only we did reprint the first volume, but Johnny wrote a brand new introduction to it, and the book was printed in all its glory, but in B format rather than the original A format. They used the original jacket there. It was a real shame that it didn't take off and that they printed more of the series. It's ironic that the earlier volumes are actually quite easy to get hold of, but it's the later volumes in the mid to late 20s up to number 30 that are actually the most expensive to find in the Pan Horror Stories series. But they're all good. And that was a worthy effort. Number 43 then, Ernest Raymond, We the Accused, one of Pan's sort of true crime ventures, of which they did a few of those over the years. Number 48 is A Summer Place, Sloan Wilson, author of The Man in the Grey Flannel Suit. And this is another one which has been filmed by Warner Brothers, and there is a still on the back. Richard Egan and Dorothy Maguire in a scene from the book, which also stars Sandra Dee, Arthur Kennedy, and Troy Donahue. Well, there you go. Don't think I've ever even heard of that one. At number 49 here is Home from the Hill. Another movie tie-in. There's loads of them, isn't there? This one with Robert Mitchum as the lead. Eleanor Parker. Number 51 here, A Moment of Warmth. Full of colour and elemental passion, and with a storytelling quality that makes it unforgettable. 51. 53 here is another movie tie-in, The Mountain Road. This has got James Stewart in the title role, fighting in China. Another big one now, this is number 54. Come In Spinner. Great Australian prize-winning novel set in Sydney. 57 is Cimarron, another movie tie-in, Glenn Ford, Maria Schell, and Anna Baxter. 58 is Stalingrad. This is non-fiction, the cruelest battle of World War II, absolutely. Quite horrific what went on in the siege of Stalingrad. That's 58. 59. Magnus the Magnificent, Leslie T. White. Bold, blood-tingling adventure in the time of Drake. Don't recognise the cover artist of that one. Looks a little bit like Hans Helwig. That's 59. Number 63 here, Nicholas Montserrat, This is the Schoolroom. Montserrat's first great novel, a superb picture of the dilemma of a generation. Great jacket on that one. Lots of detail there. It's really nice, that one. I can't see an obvious signature. I don't recognise the style either. Yeah, by the author of The Cruel Sea and the Tribe That Lost Its Head. X65 then, Let No Man Write My Epitaph. Wilfred Motley. The scorching sequel to Knock on Any Door. This is another PEF cover here. A brutal story of the Chicago slums now filmed by Columbia Pictures. And there they are, Gene Seberg and James Darren on the back there with the stars. Quite a rough old copy of that one, but I reckon it's quite scarce, you know that. Number 66 here, The Log from the Sea of Cortez by John Steinbeck. Steinbeck's story of Ed Ricketts, the fabulous dock of Cannery Row and Sweet Thursday, a book of delight. Yes, brilliant. Not a Steinbeck I've read, but nice to have that one. Not the greatest of copies, but still nice to have. So X67 is the second Pan Book Horror Stories. Definitely harder to pick up than the first, which I think had a bigger print run, but evidently the first sold well enough for them to carry on with the series and pretty much cement its reputation as the legendary Pan horror anthology. X68, The Called and the Chosen, Monica Baldwin. Brilliantly perceptive novel by the author of I Leap Over the Wall. There we are, we saw that one earlier, didn't we? Number 68. 69 is the Pan Book of Card Games. This is the first printing of a book that went on to have dozens of printings and I believe is still in print to this day. But this was the very first one, published in 1960. So we're looking at exactly 6 decades ago now. Number X70 is another Georgette Heyer Regency romance, Friday's Child. X71 is the first one of these we've seen as well. This is Alfred Hitchcock Presents Stories They Wouldn't Let Me Do on TV. 25 macabre tales to chill your blood. Excellent stuff. Obviously this was a whole subgenre in itself where Alfred Hitchcock lent his name to short stories that were pulled together. Very, very successful as well. X72 then, The Promise of Nigeria. Pan original. They didn't do many of these. A nice PEF cover again. Africa's Giant Awakes. And that's a really nice copy of that one. 72. 73 here is Rape of the Fair Country. Alexander Cordell. The mighty story full of conflict and passion of a Welsh village and its iron masters. 73. Here's a second copy of number 73. This is a later edition, but it's got a completely different cover because this is 4 years later, so they thought to update it, which is why I've kept the second copy. Scaramushka, something from Queen, but it's actually Raphael Sabatini, one of his famous sort of pirate. This one's of the French Revolution, but they're all sort of pirates and swashbuckling stuff with old Raphael Sabatini. Number 76 is another one, the Home Cookbook, the Home Cookery book, but this one's not laminated like that earlier one there, but another Pan non-fiction. 78 is Mandingo, looking at the black slavery in the Old South. These have a almost cult-like following along with the Lance Horner books, and they're very, very scarce and incredibly collectible now, these books, and that's a very nice copy of the very first one. So I'm pleased to have that one for sure. Number 81 is The Best of Everything, Rona Jaffe. Great cover on that one. Not sure who it's by. Possibly Helwig. Then on the back there, Susie Parker in Jerry Wald's film, 20th Century Fox. The last little stack now. So we got number 81, which is The Great Invasion, Leonard Cottrell, How the Romans Conquered Britain. And there we are. I got the Roman SPQI, Socius Populus K Romanus. Good stuff. Number 85 is Damned Shall Be Desire, Stephen Coulter. Interesting jacket, that one. It's unsigned, so I'm not sure who did that one without looking it up. 86 is The Intruder, Charles Beaumont. This biting and controversial novel hits with the impact of a bullet. Okay. Still in 1960 at the moment. X91, Vengeance Trail, Amelia Bean. a terrifying story torn from the bloodstained history of the American West. Nice detailed jacket there by Taylor. Very, very nice, that one. Classic sort of Western title. Let's put that over there. I'm just going to reposition the camera one last time. So here's that sequel, X93. This is the return to Peyton Place. Once again, this was filmed. Didn't do much on the front cover artwork on that one, but the books was still a huge seller. This was one I've had for a long time, My Wicked, Wicked Ways. This is a look at Errol Flynn, by Errol Flynn. What a life. He certainly was a huge, huge movie star in his day. I never really got into him, but some people are huge fans, but I've never really been into Errol Flynn like that. Number 95 is Warlock, Oakley Hall. Another really nice copy of this, a Western one. This is by W. Francis Phillips. He did a lot of jackets for Pan in the end, but this must have been one of his very early ones. Did a lot of abstract stuff, so this isn't actually any faces or bodies. This is just a collection of objects, and a lot of his covers seem to be like that. I know he did a lot of the Edgar Wallace ones. Number 96 then is another classic, Neville Shute's A Town Like Alice. It's a real classic, isn't it? Number 96. 97 is Of Whales and Men, R.B. Robertson. Look at the whale hunting trade. 99 is another Raphael Sabatini, Captain Blood. Absolute classic, this one. Cover by Taylor. I'm hoping, yeah. And that's the first print of that one, 1961. Another very collectible Pan X title, Pan Giant. And number 100 is this one here, which is The 12 Olympians, Charles Seltman. A new and fascinating view of the gods and goddesses of ancient Greece, which is another non-fiction title with a photo insert there. Brilliant, and that one was published in 1961. So there we are. There's our first look at the first 100 or so Pan Giants, and there's some really, really good and interesting books in there, and some really nice copies of those as well. I do hope you've enjoyed looking through them. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe if you've not already for vintage Pan book content. There's lots on the channel, and there's lots more still to come, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.